And I apologize. I'm just going to skip the pledge this evening since we won't make you get up. Again, since you just came down, got here. So we'll officially open the meeting at 6:09. Could I have a motion to approve our October 8 minutes?
Motion?
Second? Approved.
Done.
All right, and then I'm just going to briefly discuss before you go on, Howard. Pam and I did the jumpstart meeting of the EP grant, and we're just starting their recommendations. You know, it's just the steps that we had, just taking the steps to start that. And just, you know, just to give you the official on that, that kickoff meetings, you know, and things. So we're working on that. That is it for my information for this month, I think. So we'll let you go ahead and have a run through on.
Should be relatively brief.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff went on, but it didn't all pertain to us.
Right.
All right, the town board meeting. This does pertain to us. Murphy, again, even though he's leaving, he got one more meeting, no, maybe two. Reiterated the park maybe is need a second entrance, the exit, which goes through a wooded area, and come down Little Rest Road. His term is over at the end of the year. He mentioned that. He will be working closely with the Park Commission to further develop uses in the park, which will lead toward more commercialization if he gets what he wants in Maggotsville. There'll be more things for people to come from the county. Then it'll be open to everybody in the county. And no action was taken at that particular meeting beyond that.
Right.
Councilman Doug Giles, his preliminary farm law is ready to be introduced at the next month's meeting. So when they meet again officially, he will present that law, which I'm sure they'll pass at the right on that, especially given that he's not going to be there next year. So I'm sure that will be passed before he leaves. Culvert work, Rockford announced is leading that, and work on Oak Summit Road culvert, which has been ongoing off and on for quite a long time.
Yep.
It just never got anything traction. This time I think it will. We will require, they said they will require a wetlands permit, so they announced it officially at the meeting.
Yes.
And the CAC will be on an involved agency, which wetland consultant Steve Marino.
Yes.
All right.
And where, so is that one?
That's Summit and, oh gosh.
I see that. So was it left as a they just announced that it's happening, it'll probably need a wetlands permit, but
yes.
that was
that, yeah.
They didn't move anything forward.
Yeah, they announced that at that meeting, and then it goes to the planning board next. But they're the lead agency on that. And the planning board will advise them. And the culvert is on Oak Summit Road and Canby Road, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's Canby.
It's by the county.
Yeah, it's Canby. Yeah, it's Canby. That's the word I was looking for.
Zoning Board of Appeals look extremely interesting. They have nothing going on.
Yeah.
So they literally didn't meet.
Yeah.
Kind of nice, and I shouldn't say that.
For them, it was nice too.
Nice for them to take a break. They work so hard. Trying to beat their record, and haven't beat the 179 approval yet, but they will.
Yeah.
I have confidence in them. All right. Planning board meeting. Okay, the Oak Summit Road culvert came up again. And they reaffirmed there will be a wetlands permit required, and it's a new application in front of them to advise the town board who's putting in the application.
Yes.
And Oak Summit, no, it's right in the nose, Oak Summit and Canby.
Yeah.
Okay. discussion to be continued. CAC letter received by email, is that correct?
Yeah, so it was just an email that we sent that we reiterated Steve
Yeah.
Marino's,
See,
that our view, his view was the same as ours, and that we agreed that there needed to be a wetlands permit.
Comments of affirm.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, and the other items were rather interesting. One was, I don't know if you remember, there was a thing with a lot line change, and years ago lot line changes used to just go through automatically almost.
Mhm.
They're a little more thorough looking at them now.
Mhm.
And Brian House had an application in, involved, I think the Whalens or somebody else there. There wasn't any thing said about that. That went right through in 2 minutes.
Mhm.
Now, the other items got very interesting. Apparently, there's something going on in a neighboring community. I'm trying to remember which community it was. I think it's Pleasant Valley. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. It was all nothing to do with us whatsoever. It was all legal discussion
Mhm.
about who says what. Can you do this? And for the first time in quite a while, it's just sort of an aside. They disagreed with each other. So the planning board people were arguing among themselves. They're almost all lawyers. The lawyer from the town and the lawyer from the what's the other guy, the firm, I can't remember his firm. There's two lawyers for different firms. One is the town lawyer. One is the
AKRF?
KRF lawyer.
Okay.
And they were debating things, and they were telling the town planning board this and that. And the reason I mention this, even though nothing applied to us,
Mhm.
the man had like 350 acres in it between the two towns.
Mhm.
And the corner of 1 acre he wants to put in a not multi-family, and what? Man, a good day for me today. The cluster. Wants to put a cluster.
Oh, cluster housing?
And why does he want to put the cluster housing in? Because the taxes on his acres between the two towns is a huge number. Couldn't believe how big the number was.
Yeah.
So that was his only reason. And the two lawyers on the town board, planning board, are arguing back and forth, and it ran over an hour, more than an hour on that. I thought it'd be done in 5 minutes, because that's normally what they do. They say, oh, this is what the other town wants, and we'll look at that, and we're okay with it, and boom. Didn't work out that way this time. It's the first time I recall the planning board people arguing among themselves with different opinions. They were not giving up on their opinions. At the end, they decided to go ahead and see what was going on with the other town, and accept the fact there might be a cluster there in our town.
Uh-huh.
And that was it.
All right, so we'll listen to your recording you sent us and to understand all that.
So if you want to get into it, the recording runs about an hour and a half roughly.
Mhm.
The only recording of the whole, there's no record of this meeting, unless they did their own cell phone recordings on their cell phones.
Right.
Because and I don't understand why this thing keeps going down.
Well, this time we believe it was because of the high winds. And we have it on now. We are recording, and we recorded the public hearing for the town board, but there's no video on the TV, but it is recording. So we've got half of it working.
So the culprit is the high winds this time?
That's what the IT believes.
Okay, so the Pleasant Valley Planning Board, the cluster division.
I think it's in our town. I think it's in part of that subdivision that they're looking at.
And they talked about it at our planning board's meeting.
Yeah, so our planning board.
has to look at
So
it,
it's
even though
in,
Yes.
it's in two different
Maybe-
towns.
No,
and
I
it-
got all that, I just couldn't.
Yeah, so we just need to listen to the recording to get the exact information, to ascertain.
It's
what it
nothing
was.
environmental, so it's
Yeah,
not
so
a
it's not-
CAC
It's not a
issue.
CAC issue, it's just a town issue.
And I don't recall this happening before. In all the years I've been
Yeah.
sitting there listening to
Yeah,
them.
well, that's good that they're trying to,
Normally they agree
Hash
pretty
it out.
quickly, and
Yeah.
but there was
Well, they all have an opinion, and
All
they're,
had an opinion on this
yeah,
one.
and they're
the two
using it.
lawyers that was sitting there had an opinion.
Yeah, I've noticed that they're getting a little bit more, yeah, trying to point out things more clearly. So that's good. All right. So your other notes that you have here, we have discussed briefly in the past, not ready to discuss them for a length of time without further research, so that we have something to discuss, because we have discussed this.
Well, I gave you guys a preliminary version,
Yeah,
and I hope it's formatted well.
yeah. So I haven't had a chance to look at it yet,
All right.
and then plus Pam being away.
All right, the noise ordinance, again,
Yeah.
a lot of noise. We don't have one, the village does.
Well, if it does, somebody's breaking it every day. So
Well, okay, now the
it's.
Riga
I think it's
home-
noisier in the village than it is in the town.
The Riga home thing, the zoning administrator / planning board, or not planning, zoning
Building
administrator
yeah,
/
building inspector.
building inspector
Mm-hmm.
issued a statement that they just own the land and they have a right to just build on it. I don't think that's correct. I think it's a subdivision. Because they're putting in 8 houses and they're going right along with the construction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you haven't looked at those people on the internet, might be interesting to just Google them, and they'll pop up there like half a dozen or more of these things already
Mhm.
all over the place. So then, it's not like a person buying land, oh, I'll put a house here and put a house there when I want to. This is a commercial operation, and it should require a evaluation by a planning board as a subdivision. That's my opinion, and I think we should want to get a legal opinion from somebody other than this person who has 2 jobs,
Mm-hmm.
which is another interesting thing. I don't recall somebody having 2 jobs like that being,
Yeah.
they're normally separate jobs. And the zoning inspector is just basically to go around and see if they're following the code.
Right.
The other job is to see if this fits into our code and make that decision. For if they approve it, then he checks on it. He's approving and checking on his own work,
Right.
which is not a good thing. I don't recall that happening before.
Right.
And maybe we could raise that issue, or,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the other thing I didn't put down on the notes here is the large subdivision going on in the Hitchcock estate, which is going to have a major effect on this town.
But we still don't know what's happening on that.
There's nothing happening there though,
Right.
as yet.
Well, that's why I didn't put it down here, but, I mean, I think some of the stuff that you guys are doing with the maps and so on, the overlays,
Mm-hmm.
the question is, if we get that done before they get approval, they have to follow that, or once they put the application in, are they exempt? And I don't know the answer to that, maybe you do, one of you knows.
I mean, the zoning board's still gonna have to approve the overlay, right? So it,
Yeah.
So at what point does, let's say the town approves all the stuff you're working on, you know, environmental overlays and all the new stuff
Right.
that you're working on right now. And in the meantime, they have gotten on the agenda with the planning board. Are they exempt then, if that law passes? Or they're not exempt because it hasn't been approved yet? I don't know.
We would have to have a legal answer on that one.
Yes, I think that's, because there's a lot of environmental factors on that property, a lot.
Yeah, everyone's aware of them.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Mm.
If they get approval ahead of time and you have more stuff worked out, you know, like 25 acre, you know, stuff that you're working on,
Right.
does that exempt them because they're in the process of being approved?
we don't know.
Don't
We
know. I don't know either.
I
Yeah.
know, but alls we can do is wait and find out. Like, we have
No, I
to,
think we could inquire ahead of time because our concerns are environment. Once it's already done, it's very difficult.
right.
So,
But if legally it's
If-
established that it happens one way, there's not much we can do.
but we don't know if that's precedent or not. I mean, they may decide.
I'm sure
after
once the
fact.
application's in, there's some legal
Yeah,
precedent.
I have a feeling it's pre-existing, non-conforming.
Okay, well, the problem is, we don't know the answer to this particular question. At what point are they grandfathered? If they're just in the process of going through it, they're not going to the planning board is discussing it, and in the meantime, that law gets passed that you guys are working on, all the environmental stuff, does it still apply to them because they're not approved? Or are they exempt because they just started with the grandfather with the planning board? And the law doesn't apply to them. The town itself may have to make a decision on that. They may not know that answer. So I think it's better to inquire ahead of time and let the town decide. The worst thing they could do is say they're grandfathered. The best thing they could do is say any new environmental laws that apply to them, even if they're in front of the planning board, they have no approval, that they have to abide by the new laws. So there's nothing to lose and possibility to gain something.
Right, but we also don't know what we're presenting. Like, we're just at the baby stages.
Well, so what?
So how would we even
Oh.
propose it to the town?
You are working on environmental correct me, is exactly what it is, I'm not even sure myself.
We
But you're working on a 25 acre or some sort of,
I don't think that we have a specific at this point. I don't think.
The grant is to work with a consultant to figure out what the
What-
specific might be and where it might happen.
Yeah,
So it's
All right.
entirely possible that the consultant will say, it should happen here and it should be 25,
yeah.
but it's also entirely possible that they
I have
won't.
25 in the back of my head from something.
Because
An
the
example?
planning board had said, this was one of the examples that I think we had used with the planning board. Everyone thought that this would be an easier way of retaining some of this open space that we have by having large lots of land in 25 acre zoning.
Regardless, in my mind,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be, after the meeting I sat in on yesterday, we'll be able to discuss
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But in my mind, there's nothing to be lose by putting it on the table ahead of time, because we might win something.
No, I know, but how do you word it? Just like this open blanket of this is what we're working on, we don't have it specific, but
No.
will it apply?
If something, yeah, something like this, we're looking at different things, and if it turns out that one of these things we're looking at becomes approved as a law, does the law apply to people, not just them, who are in the process
Anyone,
of being
yeah.
approved by the planning board but not approved? So of course they're not approved, that any new laws apply to them.
Yeah.
Or can they argue, oh, this doesn't apply to me because I'm already in front of the planning board? That's the gist of the question.
Yeah,
So like a letter to the town lawyer or to the planning board itself?
yeah,
I think it's a legal question. I think it's a town lawyer-ish question. Even though the planning board is almost all lawyers, I think it's the two people that sit over there, the lawyers, or at least the town lawyer that they hire. Has to weigh in on that. I think it's a legal matter for the town to decide what they're doing with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Then
we can
they
write
would
a
tell
letter,
the
but,
planning board.
yeah, we can write a letter to the town and ask, but,
Just asking.
I mean, it's gonna, yeah.
Not telling them, because I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell them, actually.
No,
because
there
I
is
don't know-
nothing-
I don't know what's legal.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, we don't know how to address it technically, but we'll,
Well, no, why don't you know how to address it? Explain that to me.
we don't know what we're doing with the grant,
It
exactly.
has nothing to do with the grant at
And,
this point.
and, I
Although
mean,
the
it's,
grant may be important.
yeah, I mean, it's like, I understand what you're saying, is you're saying, like, if we come across something that we, get approved.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying very general, not you, take yourself out of the picture. What is the procedure you, the town board, allows if something is coming before the planning board and it's approved as a law? Does that law now apply to people in the process of working with the planning board but not approved? Do they have to obey the new law? nothing to do with you.
No, I know
But
not
it
me.
will have something to do with you, because you're working on stuff, but
Right. I know it doesn't mean anything with me personally or the grant personally. I'm just saying the overall concept of, and I get what you're saying now, does it apply? At what point does it apply?
Yes.
Is what you wanting to find out.
yes.
What law are the current applications held to?
Yeah. Are they,
The one
Are they
that was in
exempt?
place when
Which
they
is-
were placed, or?
yeah, because it's totally hypothetical because nobody's
Yeah.
doing anything and we're not finished doing what we're doing. So it's all hypothetical. But
Yes.
what you're asking,
What is the legal
What-
procedure for
yeah,
that?
at what point does it come into effect? Like, are they have to be completely done? If they're in the process, does it apply when the law is done? Yeah, I get it.
That's-
We'll work on a letter.
Because we could win in cases as we get something good done, and people are in the process, we could win if they say they have to obey with the
Right.
new thing, but it's not about us, it's not just us.
No, I understand.
Okay.
It's the whole thing, but I just,
Yeah, but you're the one that's gonna have to write the letter.
yes, exactly. That's why I wanted to
Or maybe
ascertain,
both of you write the letter.
that's why I wanted to
Better still.
ascertain what we were talking about. All right.
Okay, so we touched, the Riga home thing is another interesting thing because they build large tracts of property. And you look on the
Mhm.
internet, you'll
Right.
see that they have, it's not just somebody, oh, I bought 8 acres and I want to build a house, and
Right.
then I want to build another house later on or sell one of the acres. This is an obvious corporation
Yeah.
with the intent of build, and they've already laid out the 8 acres and they're digging on them.
Right.
But, so why is it there's not a subdivision in that lot, that big lot? One of the things that happened, you probably remember this, they came with Skip Safari, who was selling them his property,
Right.
to change where the roads came out.
Right.
Now, that's a new application, that's a change of a non-conforming use. Some of those properties became less conforming because they got smaller.
Mm.
Some of them got more conforming because they got bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Also, under the new law, these are supposed to have 1.5 acres, 1.5 plus whatever it is, because they are back lots, and they're flag lots.
Mm-hmm.
None of that happened.
Right.
So I think that they should look at this as a new subdivision and apply the subdivision laws, which are not that strict, but they have to be approving everything. They took out, when I first moved up here, this is just this background, I moved up here in 1968, it's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
All of that land was forest at that time, because after World War I, which was sheep, they used to herd sheep on that land. That all went away, and the land was just fallow. So by the time we got around here, you have an almost 100-year-old forest with very large trees in spots down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to determine how big the tree is. You just go over, you measure both sides of it at breast height, which I guess it's fine as 4 feet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they just cut all those trees down. All of those trees, which were normally part of a tree ordinance. And if this was a subdivision, it would have to at least say, here's the trees on there
Right.
at this height, and they give a reason to cut them down.
Right.
And that's what I'd like, to find out. Why are they not being considered now? Because the KKR, the Aaron person there, said, oh, they approved that in 1989. Yeah, they approved it in 1989. Because what happened in 1987 or 88, when they started the new master plan, and they froze everything. Skip Safari came in at the 11th hour, nobody was in the room except people on that board, and said, I want to do this, and they approved him without doing any of the procedure. Then there was an Article 78, he lost.
Mm.
Then it gets more interesting. He goes back to the planning board, he said, oh, I have a hardship, I can't do what I want to do now. And they just simply re-approved him, and without doing anything further. They said, oh, no, because of your hardship, we're granting your application in the first place. But now you fast forward, he's sitting on that land all this time, and then the Riga people come along, and he sells them the land.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian Houston is there as the engineer for him, for Ships of Ferry. And he keeps saying that those are flag lots. He keeps saying they're flag lots. They have to now have 1.5 times the acreage. It should be an acre and a half or more. So that's all sitting there. Riga Homes now is treating this because of the building inspector / zoning administrator. And I'm just a guy that has property, he wants to put a house on it. Who am I to tell him he can't put a house on his property, even though it's non-conforming? And that's where we are. He's now put up 8 signs on that property for 8 parcels. The signs are posted. Zone 1, property 1, property 2. There's no protection whatsoever for that forest that he's cut down. So we've lost this whole natural resource that he's taken down. He's taken out what remained of the trees in there. They're big trees.
Yeah.
And this is something I think, the planning board has to address. Is this a person building individual houses, or is this a subdivision? It looks to me like this guy bought all this land and he's subdividing. He was using some of the maps that maybe they did in 2014 or something, and he's not complying with the 1.5 times the acreage for flag lots, and it has to be treated as a subdivision and go before the ZBA. That's my opinion on it.
Have you sent a letter or reported it as a private citizen?
As a private individual, have you said any?
I got a letter back,
Officially?
yes, I have the letter from the ZBA, not the ZBA, the planning board guy, Howard, God help me, from the building inspector, saying he's entitled to just build on that land.
So they have gone out and inspected it?
Well, he lives right next to it, the building inspector.
So, but is it just a letter from him, or is it a letter from him through the town attorney?
I have to go find the letter. I think it's a letter addressed just to me,
Okay.
because I sent him a letter as a private citizen.
Okay. Well, we would be interested if you could share it with us so we could understand.
Here to myself. Yeah, that's what he told me. He's a private party that just owns all this land, and he doesn't have to subdivide it. Even though the land was not subdivided, was mapped out as 8 parcels.
Okay.
And he's a person that builds on parcels, all right. Get letter.
Alrighty, so, I don't think we have anything else. You don't have anything, Shannon, to discuss?
No, that's my stuff. Tree
And that's
ordinance,
you.
noise ordinance, and
Yep,
like
which
rider
we will-
homes. The other thing I didn't put down here, because you're saying nothing is happening yet, is the Hitchcock thing, which is, every time I tell somebody that Hitchcock story is what they put in their letter, like, I'm going for physical therapy for my hip. In casual conversation, because I know along the CAC, I mentioned that to them. They asked me what's going on. I told them the guy was shocked. The guy I told her, how can they do that?
Well-
It's going to totally change the town. That's what this was a private citizen who's
Right.
not that interested in stuff.
Right. But it will if it ever happens, but so far nothing's happening.
Well, why
They
is
just
nothing
floated
gonna
the
happen?
idea, but there's no application.
There's no
nothing.
applications. There's nobody put any money down to do anything.
Or to even get any permits.
Nope.
It's just,
It's
There
just
was a
fine.
guy there, wasn't there a guy there talking to
he
them?
floated the idea
He's
and was
not-
told to
to
check
come-
the zoning code.
To check the code, to check the comprehensive plan, and come back with an application.
All right.
But
He wasn't encouraged to,
he was told that
Yeah.
is what you need to do if you're wanting to move forward.
Well, so he's representing a firm in New York City, a big firm, that does this sort of work all the time. Because that's what it came up when he had his credentials, who he was representing. And this is just an informational meeting, so we're not concerned about it yet.
No.
All right, in your opinions, at what point do we get involved? After
They put it in an
When
application.
they put an application in.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
that's what they
there's,
told them to do, put an application. and
Correct.
come
yes,
back.
but there isn't one now.
There are
If
there
there's
are
an application for a golf course, we will get
we
involved.
will all know about it. But there are 3 to 4 people looking to buy the property. Everyone has a plan.
Okay,
I have seen
understand.
plans. I have seen other people's plans. I've had it discussed to me, and there's no applications
Okay,
in.
so,
Everyone has pie in the sky right now. They all want to do something. Nobody wants to put the money down until they can absolutely be guaranteed they can have it.
Which is smart. It's smarter than
But
all the
you get
people
it.
that buy stuff and then are like, oh,
Oh,
what
I
do you
didn't
mean
realize.
can't?
I didn't realize I couldn't
Yeah.
do that here. So right now
well,
we're
that's what they told them. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
They said to this guy, submit an application.
Correct.
That's what they did say.
But nobody wants to submit an application unless they're guaranteed they can do what they want to do. That's where it appears to be at.
And I kind of felt like the response he received was not encouraging that he could do what he wanted to do.
No, it wasn't discouraging. I said.
They pretty much told him you're not going to get the golf course down the middle of the property for 200 to 300 acres.
I didn't hear them say anything. Maybe I'm just forgetting. I'm getting more
Yeah.
forgetful, to be
It
honest.
sounded like they made it clear that it was not in alignment with the zoning code.
Or the
And-
comprehensive plan, or,
You know, yeah.
Well, they did say look at the comprehensive
Yeah.
plan.
yeah, they said to look at everything, go through it with your
Yeah.
people, and then come back with an application. So there is nothing official out there.
No.
All right, so yeah, that's the answer to that question at the moment then.
All right. Anything else before we,
No, you guys don't have anything you want to talk
we
about?
decided nothing, right? You don't have
I
anything?
don't think so, no.
I think we're on a downhill slide at the moment. So,
Well, that's nice. I mean,
yeah. Our next meeting is December 3rd. So, can I have a motion to adjourn? And then-
Seconded.
Approved. We're off. I'm going to stop this recording.